रोशनी का कारवां.
This podcast is brought to you by Score Foundation.
ये है रोशनी, रोशनी, रोशनी का कारवां. रोशनी. Highway, ये है रोशनी का कारवां.
Welcome, and today our guest is Miss Connie Godinho from Goa. She's an entrepreneur and she has a very compelling story to tell. Welcome, Connie.
Thank you, Mr. George.
So, you are a traditional Goan, right? You were born and brought up here.
Yes, you are right.
So, how did you start your life? Meaning, where did you study? I believe you were a professional working somewhere. Can
Yes.
you tell us about it?
Yeah, I studied my primary education in my local school, Luke's Convent High School. I graduated from St. Xavier's College in Mapusa, specializing in business management. And then I did a travel and tourism course for travel and ticketing. And then I started my career with Fort Aguada, the Taj Group of Hotels. And then went on to Kuwait to work as a contract specialist with an oil company there.
And by then you were, I guess, married as well, right?
Yes, I was already married by then.
And you have...
I have a daughter.
You had a daughter?
Yes.
And all three of you were in Kuwait at that
Yes.
stage, yeah? At some point of time you came back for a holiday and you said there was an accident. Would you mind sharing the story of the accident?
Yes, the accident happened in 2011 of June. I was on a short holiday, basically just 3 days. It was over my weekend holiday.
Yeah.
And I was going for Mass and I was hit by a bus. It was my birthday that day.
Oh,
So I thought I would be celebrating my birthday with my family, but unfortunately that didn't happen.
you were hit by a bus. Normally people don't survive to talk and tell their story.
The accident was nothing short of watching a James Bond movie. When I was hit by the bus, it was the only thing I knew that the moment I was walking and next minute I was flying. And I just didn't know what was happening.
Right,
And later I realized I was on the floor.
right.
And till then I did not know the impact or the seriousness of the accident. The only thing I asked when I landed on the floor was, do I have my legs? Because I couldn't feel my legs. So I have a spinal cord injury. I had fractured ribs. I had a punctured lung. And that was my journey. Hence my journey on the wheelchair began.
What actually helped you to kind of reorient yourself, and it must have taken you a little time, right?
Yeah, it was very difficult for me to accept the fact that I cannot do things on my own like the way I used to do before, because I was a very independent person, never relying on anyone for any small thing. Most of my jobs were done by myself.
Yeah.
So being dependent on someone was actually hitting me really bad. And being a career person, when I realized that I've lost it and it's going to be difficult, took me a while to gather my wits back and get back on my feet.
When did the fire light up? And how did it light up?
In the initial years of my accident, I was only thinking of how I'm going to get out, like how can I walk. Every day I used to wake up with the thought like, okay, there will be some improvement today and there will be something new that will happen today and everything is going to be back to normal. Just as years were going by, I realized that no, it's not what I'm thinking, and I need to buck up and do something and accept what it is now and do something for myself. And that's when I started crocheting.
If you know of anyone with vision impairment who needs guidance on living life with blindness, please share the Highway National Toll-Free Helpline number 1-800-5320-469. The number is 1-800-5320-469.
Was crochet something that you knew from before? Or?
Crochet was an art which was basically taught to us in school, but I just hated it in school. I never liked it.
Yeah.
So I never picked it up. So it was only after the accident when I saw a few friends doing it, it sort of ignited a little bit of interest. And I said, okay, why don't I teach myself doing this?
Yeah.
And that's when I started watching YouTube videos, thank God for that. And I taught myself from the basics. Like, I just knew what is the chain stitch or whatever. And then I taught myself the different stitches, and I taught myself watching YouTube videos. And then I said, this is going to be too long, watching YouTube videos, and completing a project is going to take me ages.
Yeah.
So I taught myself like how to read a pattern, how to read symbols, so I could work faster. And that's how, it seemed to be very interesting, and that's how I picked this up.
But it's interesting, something that you hated as a child came to your assistance, right?
Yes.
So let's hear the crochet story going forward. Yeah.
Yes. So I taught myself crocheting. It was a very old art. Initially, people when they got married used to take their trousseau, and crochet was part of it, like for their table decor, for beautifying their homes.
Yeah.
So newly married brides would take it along. But at least when I got married, I thought, oh, this is outdated. Who's going to use this crochet anymore?
Yeah.
So even when I was crocheting, I never thought that it was going to be my business. But I was just doing it for my joy. And then one fine day, I crocheted some earrings for my daughter to gift her teachers for Teachers' Day.
Right.
And that was probably my first post I put up on Facebook after my accident.
Yeah.
And there was a lady who noticed my work, and she messaged me, are you selling this? And I was like, what a question she's asking me, selling? I was like, no, I'm not selling. And she said, okay, I need to come and see you. I said, are you from Saligaon? She asked me. The lady was from Saligaon,
Yeah.
but we had never met each other personally.
Yeah.
So, and she did not know my story.
Yeah.
Because after the accident, I had stopped my interaction on social media at all.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be seen the same person on the wheelchair and stuff.
Yeah.
So this was my first post. So this lady did not know anything about me being on the wheelchair until she fixed an appointment to come and see me. And as she walked in through the door, she was surprised to see me on the wheelchair, and she asked me, are you Connie? And I said, yes. So that is where my journey began of taking crochet as my business.
So what actually happened? She said, are you Connie? And you said yes. So that was
So
magic or?
Yeah, it was like, she said, oh, I didn't know you were on the wheelchair. I said, yeah, I don't like people knowing that I'm on the wheelchair. And she said, yeah, I can understand. And then she saw my work. She said, I'm not here to see whether you're on the wheelchair or what you're doing, but I am here to see your work. So can I see a few of your works, what you have done? And she saw some work of my art which I had done, and she said, I am planning to start like a local market wherein you can, put up a stall and sell your stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, who would buy crochet? And she's like, no, there are definitely people going to buy like these such lovely patterns of earrings. And I was like, oh, I'm going to sell only earrings? How much am I going to get? 10 rupees, 100 rupees?
Yeah.
And she said, you don't worry about that. I will help you to price your product.
Yeah.
And then we thought, she said to me, Connie, why don't we think of, something out of the box? Something that people would like. Because I said, I want to be something different, not be just crocheting doilies and table runners that anyone can do.
Yeah.
And we came up with an idea of, this happened somewhere in September.
Yeah.
So the market was to begin in November. So we started planning for Christmas sales.
Okay.
So we said, okay, let's do something Christmas related. In the meantime, I had already taught myself amigurumi, which is a Japanese art of crochet, which we make soft toys out of it.
Right.
So I taught myself making small things like Christmas tree hangings, like snowmen
Yeah.
and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And she said, okay, let's do something different. Connie, why don't you make a crochet star? And I was like, what is she doing, crochet star? She's like, I said, I don't know. I said, okay, let me look up. So as usual, Pinterest and Google were my teachers. So we started looking up for ideas. And I did not see a crochet star anywhere. And she's like, yeah, that's it. We've not seen it anywhere, so we need people to see it now.
Yeah, you got to set the trend.
So I got my husband's friend to get me a frame done out of bamboo. And we started experimenting on, how we could, because all this while I was just used to following a particular pattern. But if I have to make a star, there is no pattern that I can follow. So I had to come up with my own ideas and my own measurements of how to make it fit. And we came up with a crochet star which was a hit. So basically people came to know me, a lot of people came to know me because of the crochet star.
As a matter of curiosity, how many stars did you make and how many got sold?
Oh my, I just can't keep a count of how many stars we have sold. Because see, it takes a lot of time. Crochet is a very fine art. There are little different textures of thread that you use. So this had to be done with a very fine thread. So getting the right kind of material is also difficult. So it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. So it just can't be made in a day or so. So initially a star would take me something like 15 days, one star to complete. To complete one star it would take me about 15 days. So I had to plan myself for orders accordingly. So we said, okay, we'll make 2 stars first. We'll see what's the response. And there were people keeping on asking. Any time of the year they would ask me, Connie, do you have a star? And I was like, oh, I don't make and keep them. You need to order, please. So people started ordering in advance. So for next year, people book the previous year. So that's how we started selling crochet stars.
So you also make crochet dresses for children, right?
Yes, a lot of crochet stuff for children, like the cardigans, the beanies, the booties for the kids. I make crochet dresses and tops for the adults. So yeah.
So these things, the Salegaon is a very limited space.
Correct.
But I think what I've heard is that your products go globally.
Yes.
How does that happen?
Basically through social media. I use Facebook and Instagram and word of mouth. So that's how it goes about. Because I don't need to advertise more or because it's difficult since I do the work all myself. It's difficult to take too many orders. So just what I can do. But yeah, that gives me satisfaction.
And which parts of the world has Connie's work gone to?
Connie's Hooks and Yarns has gone to Portugal. Connie's Hooks and Yarns has gone to the UK, has gone to the US, has gone to Canada, has gone to the Middle East, and many parts of India too.
What I was wondering is that you have a demand for your products. Your products are good. There is a quality to it. Why haven't you thought of scaling it up so that you bring in more people, so you're also providing employment for people and you are widening your market and you're probably even widening the range of products that you can bring?
Yeah, I'm actually looking for that. The problem with me is I'm a very stickler for when it comes to neatness, when it comes to quality. I would like to give somebody the same thing what I would expect. So there are sometimes I have seen many people who crochet and it's done very haphazardly. Like I like my stitches to be in sync and not something loose, something depending on what you're doing. So at the moment I've shortlisted about 2 of them who I know can work with me or can do the work the way I want it. So yeah, slowly.
And you have some plans, definite plans?
I plan to have my own studio for my products. Which will happen shortly. So things are moving in that direction. So we hope to have a boutique soon.
I also understand that your husband is into the food business. Is that right?
Yes.
And you have actually started supplementing his business with your own masalas.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Actually, my husband and myself, we are great foodies. We love food. And we love to feed people. So he has been barbecuing for ages, but just as a hobby. Since he's home now because of me for the last 3 years, he thought of doing something and he does barbecues. And I am a traditional Goan, so I picked up a lot of recipes from my grandparents because my grandparents were both very good cooks. So I basically do the authentic Goan masalas like the resha masalas, the green resha, the jeera mire masalas. So a lot of clients who buy my products for hooks and yarns also buy my masalas, though I have not advertised for it, or though I do, it's not available in the market, yeah, but for few clients who are my regulars, we do it regularly.
You've got a brand name for that, is there?
Yes.
Like hooks and yarns, you got something for this
Yeah,
as
my
well?
masalas are called avos. Avo is the Portuguese word, so for grandmother. So since these recipes I use for my masalas are for my grandmother, they are in memory of her. So it's named Avo's Masalas.
You know, when you were talking to me the other day, you were saying that when the accident actually happened, people were asking you very intelligent questions. So tell us a little bit about those questions.
Yeah, people always have, pure questions like they will ask you, why did this happen? How am I supposed to know why this happened? It happened.
Yeah.
Like some people would come and say, oh, you must have definitely done something wrong and that's why it happened. I was like, oh really? And who did tell you that I did something wrong and who are you to judge me? So people came up with different things. They're like, oh, maybe it's something ancestral. I'm like, excuse me, keep your comments to yourself and let me live my life, because they were not helping me in any way. So finally it was just me who needed to pick myself up irrespective of the reason why it happened. But I don't see it could have happened to anybody. But I always say that, okay, I was the chosen one because probably the Lord knew that I would be able to handle it. So that's it. So look at it positively.
Well, another thing that I see in this experience is that if you were working for somebody else, you during the daytime would be away in office and coming back tired and maybe just have the weekend with your family.
Right.
Now you've got the opportunity of working from home and partnering your husband in business.
Correct.
And also being there as your daughter needs you, right?
Yes, yeah, right.
So that seems like a great blessing.
Yeah, it's absolutely a blessing.
How do you celebrate life as a family?
We're always looking out for things to make life happy for us. We don't like being sorry for being on the wheelchair. Though things are difficult, would not the same that would have been otherwise. But yeah, we make every effort to make ourselves comfortable, to enjoy ourselves. We are not limited to being only at home. We try going out to places which are accessible. And we make things happen, sometimes even if it's just going for a drive in the car. So basically just an outing. So we celebrate and live life every day.
I know your husband is in the room, but I would still like to ask you this question. What were the kind of adjustments in terms of being the head of the family and being part of being your life partner? Meaning, he must have also needed therapy and help, right?
Because there was no point listening to anyone. So we pulled up our socks and said, we need to face this as a family, and what is the best way to move ahead. See, when I met with the accident, it was loss of an income.
Yeah.
So he had to supplement for all the expenses. But God has been good, and there has been nothing short. In fact, my family was a great support, because while he was at work, I had my family back home who would take care of me. And he was blessed with a good job where he could come home every 35 days. So he was working for 35 days and he was at home for 35 days. So it was easier for us, to adjust. And being a caretaker for a person who is on the wheelchair, who is on the bed, especially in the initial days of accident, is difficult. But my husband was not the guy who was shy to do anything for me. So, many times my family would say, it's okay, you don't change a diaper, we'll do it. And he was like, no, why can't I? And so, he has been very supportive. He's learned a lot of tips and tricks of how to move me, get me into the car, get me out of the car, get me on the chair. So, we taught ourselves a lot of things. And yeah, he's been a great support.
And over the years, your daughter?
Over the year, my daughter also, since she's growing up now, like if he's not there, if he's not at home and my daughter is around, I don't have to think like, oh, I have to wait for someone to come and do something for me now. I just give her a shout and she knows that what needs to be done. So even from changing diapers or giving me my food If I'm doing some work on the bed, she does all that.
To support our work with the blind and visually impaired, you can visit the donate page on our website www.scorefoundation.org.in. Please note www.scorefoundation.org.in.
Life on your feet and life on the wheelchair. I know you have no choice in this matter, but going forward, what are your thoughts if you were to evaluate your two?
I think if I was on my feet, I probably would have taken things for granted. I think which we all do. But being on the wheelchair actually, makes you think and see the importance of even small things, like even moving your finger, how important it is. If everything is fine, you're not bothered.
Yeah.
We are not taking care of ourselves. We're just, up and about, going about our duties. But it's only when you are one part of your body is not functioning, you know basically what you need to do and how important it is for that to function. So do not take life for granted is what I tell people. Thank God for every day, for every breath, for every minute, for everything that you're blessed with. And I don't take my being on the wheelchair as a disability. I look for it as my ability, because I always tell myself, if I was a working professional, people would have known me only in my circle of my work.
Yeah.
But being on the wheelchair and being Connie's hooks and yarns, a lot more people know me. Probably I wouldn't be sitting here in Purple Fest either.
Yeah. Good. Right, so I think if there are any questions that people in the audience would like to ask, this is the time.
Yeah, Connie ma'am, thanks for sharing with us the incredible story about your life. And first thing is that apart from your loving family, your husband and Arya, would you like to name someone from your friend circle or anybody else who has shown the empathy that has to be shown during your fight back story? And second one, regarding your product, I have come from Guwahati, so would you like to, if I want to take it from Guwahati sometime somewhere, where would I like to, you have to see in any website or anything where you can share with us?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll answer your second question first. You can find me on Facebook. My Facebook page goes as Connie's Hooks and Yarns. And,
Connie's Hooks and Yarns.
and I'm also on Instagram.
Okay,
So
nice.
you can send me a DM on either of the social handles. And secondly, if I would like to name someone, my aunt, who was my mom's younger sister, had been with me right from day one of the accident, and who was a great support for us in the absence of my husband. And when I picked up my hobby of crocheting, there was a friend of mine, Olinda, who used to crochet. So I used to look at her work and thought like, okay, if she can crochet, I can crochet too. So she was the one who also inspired me. By initially when I started my journey, she gave me some of her leftover threads to, experiment with things. So yes, these are the two people I would like to name.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, my question is, it is purely based on how you feel. I just want to know what is the most difficult environment in like public spaces that you have faced with you on a wheelchair.
If you ask me, Goa is not very accessible. It's very difficult to, get access to any public place. Like I would like to go to the beach, but unfortunately there's no beach that you can access. So accessibility in Goa is a major problem. Like even if you need to go to a restaurant for a meal, you have to study yourself, and because no restaurants are also friendly. They may be even in a 5-star hotel. But accessibility is a major problem in Goa, which is being tackled. Even government offices are not accessible. So accessibility is a major disadvantage in Goa. So there are a few places that we have found where we can go to Like sometimes I don't mind even being in the car. Like if I want to go shopping, Barron is a place that I go shopping, but if people from Goa know what 18 June Road is, it's very difficult to even find a place to park. But I have been shopping in Barron for many years. So the staff is kind enough to actually put the stuff what I need in a bag and bringing it to the car and telling me, ma'am, pick up what you want. So that's how it is here.
Well, Connie, appreciate the fact that you've actually taken the time to come and be part of this Highway Conversations. And your story is definitely a story which tells the world that if you want to help yourself, you can. And I think she's a wonderful example of a person who found a niche for herself and she's built it up. And I also believe that when you take positive actions, the world tends to come with you. Solutions do come, it might take time, but we need to plug away. As the movie says, Lage raho munna bhai. Okay, this is a token of our appreciation. This is a small bouquet. The flowers are of paper, but it's made by children. And this is a memento from the Purple Festival, which you might want to keep with you.
Thank you. Thank
In
you.
memory of the festival and in memory of me.
Yes, thank you, Mr. George, for having me over.
So thank you, Connie, and
Thank you.
I'd also like to thank Mario in the crowd.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Highway, ये है रोशनी का कारवां.
This podcast was brought to you by Score Foundation.
ये है रोशनी, रोशनी, रोशनी का कारवां. रोशनी. Highway, ये है रोशनी का